I've worked with CEOs who have built 8-figure businesses but can't get their personal brand off the ground. I've worked with founders who can close million-dollar deals but can't close the gap between who they are and who people think they are. I've worked with leaders who can build incredible companies but struggle to build themselves. And after years of studying the patterns, both in my own journey from corporate employee to 7-figure agency owner, and across our clients who generate millions in views and revenue, I've noticed something. And this is the first time I've ever shared any of these thoughts, and I'm super excited if you can't tell. But here's what I've noticed. The difference between these folks isn't talent, it isn't luck, and to be quite honest, it isn't even strategy. It's consistency in the fundamentals. And today I'm about to break down the PULSE method, which are 5 daily non-negotiables that every builder needs to implement. It's the 5 daily non-negotiables I do. It's the 5 daily non-negotiables that I see our clients that are winning do. And these are not nice to haves. These are the foundation that make everything else possible. If you don't know who I am, my name is Casey Brown. I'm the founder and CEO of an agency that helps CEOs, executives, and leaders build impactful personal brands. So let's get into the builder's blueprint today. Now, before I dive into the PULSE method, I need to address one thing. Most advice for founders and executives and leaders fall into 2 categories. Now, the first is what I like to call hustle porn. It's the whole wake up at 4 a.m., work 18 hours, never see your family, and somehow that is supposed to be the recipe for success. The second is this vague inspiration woo-woo, be authentic, follow your passion, think positive, and success will magically find you. Now, the problem with both of these mindsets is that they are both equally useless. Real builders and leaders need a framework that's, number 1, sustainable, that you can actually maintain it. Number 2, practical, something that you can implement today. And number 3, the most important, impactful, something that actually moves the needle. And that's what this PULSE method is designed to be. PULSE. PULSE. It stands for publish, uncomfortable, lift, socialize, and evaluate. These 5 daily habits compound over time to build not just your business, but your brand and your body. It's the trifecta that leads to lasting success and fulfillment. Let's break them down. The first letter, P, publish. Every single day, I don't care who you are, you need to share at least one piece of content. A piece of content that either positions you, educates your audience, or invites engagement. Notice I didn't say, I need you to post 17 times across 12 different platforms every day. That's the old way of thinking that leads to, number 1, burnout, and number 2, mediocre content. But instead, what I want you to do is focus on clarity over volume. Here's how this looks in practice. Positioning content tells your audience who you are and what you stand for. It might be a story about your journey, it might be a contrarian opinion, or it might even be a behind-the-scenes look at your process. Educational content demonstrates your expertise and provides real value. A video like this is a part of my educational content pillar. This could be, for you, a framework breakdown, a case study, or a how-to guide. Invitational content creates engagement and builds relationships. You'll see that I do a lot of this on LinkedIn, and some of my most viral pieces of LinkedIn content happen to be or fall into this invitational content. This might be a question, a challenge, or an opportunity for your audience to share their experience. Now, the key with all of these pieces of content is intention. Before you hit post or publish on anything, you need to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this content? Who specifically am I creating this for? And what action do I want them to take after consuming it? Again, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they hit post and publish is that they're literally just posting for themselves. You need to post with the viewer or reader in mind. That is an intentional post. And one purposeful post will do more for your brand than 20 random ones. Trust me on that. Even for myself, when I started implementing this in my own brand, my reach expanded dramatically. Not because I was posting more, but because I was posting with greater intention and clarity. I went from posting pictures of just my vacation vacation and me having fun in life, to actually taking those same pictures and same pieces of content, but framing them with the end viewer and consumer in mind. And that's when things started to explode for me. Now, moving on to the second letter, the U in Pulse stands for uncomfortable. Every day, I need you to do one thing that makes you sweat, mentally or emotionally. This might be a bold move you've been putting off, a follow-up call you've been avoiding, the conversation you've been dreading, a pitch that scares you, sliding into somebody's DMs. Whatever it is that you've been avoiding, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And here's why this matters. Your business and your brand will never grow beyond your comfort zone. Let me say that again. Your business and your brand will never grow beyond your comfort zone. Most people think growth happens in a linear fashion, and it doesn't. Growth happens in quantum leaps that occur when you push beyond your current limitations. I had a client who was terrified of making videos. Actually, this is most of my clients. Most of my clients are a little nervous to get in front of the camera. But every day for 30 days with this particular client, I challenged her to record a 1-minute video, 60-second video, just talking about what she knew best. She didn't even have to publish them at first. All I asked her to do was sit in front of the camera and click record. By day 30, not only was she comfortable on camera, but she had built a library of content that eventually led to over 500,000 followers and multiple 6-figure deals. The formula is simple, y'all. Comfort equals plateau. Discomfort equals growth. In this era of us being in what some folks call a comfort crisis, I need y'all to make discomfort a daily practice. And if you make discomfort a daily practice, growth becomes inevitable. Now, the L in Pulse stands for lift, which represents all forms of movement. I don't want you guys to think that lift only stands for lifting weights, although lifting weights and strength training is key, but the L really encompasses all forms of movement. And this is a non-negotiable for a reason. Your body and mind are connected in ways most builders underestimate. Every day, I need you to commit at least to 30 minutes of movement. Whether that's walking while you're on a meeting, lifting, stretching, boxing, whatever it is that gets your body in motion, I need you to commit to it. I see it in the CEOs that I work with, the super high-performing, high-achieving. How do they win at the level that they win at? I see it up close because I get to work with them up close. I see how much they move their body, how seriously they take health and wellness and working out. And so I need you to add this, if it's not already, to one of your daily non-negotiables, an appointment with yourself that you never cancel. Movement isn't just about physical health, although that's important. It's about creating momentum in every area of your life. When you exercise, you're building physical proof that you are a finisher, somebody who starts things and completes them. But outside of that, you're also releasing stress that blocks creativity. You're boosting your cognitive function. You're creating a pattern break in your day, and you're proving to yourself every time you move that you can overcome resistance. I've seen this transform clients who were stuck in every area of their business. I'll tell you about one CEO that I worked with was experiencing decision paralysis and a bunch of creative blocks. Every time we sat down to record content, was fumbling over words, just couldn't get the creativity that we once had in another season. And so what I asked her to start doing is implementing a daily 30-minute walk first thing in the morning. The way that I like to work with my clients isn't just in a content relationship. I think we're life partners in a sense, right? We focus on the entirety because all the things that you do in your life come across on screen. So when we started executing on this daily 30-minute walk, literally, I kid you not, within 2 weeks, this client had more clarity, more energy, and was executing at a level we had not even reached together in months. Movement is momentum. Do not neglect it. And if you want to be on a walking challenge or a movement challenge with me, let me know in the comments and I'll put something together for us to hold each other accountable in this regard. Now, the S in Pulse stands for socialize. Every day, I need you to make 5 intentional touches with people in your network or your audience. I'll also add a caveat here to say even folks, friends and family, right? Let's just add a little asterisk to that as well. But this could look like sparking a conversation with a new connection on LinkedIn or on your Instagram, your TikTok, sending a voice note to just check in with somebody, sharing something valuable with a potential client, following up with somebody that you recently met out at dinner or on a flight, or reaching out to a past client or customer and just checking in and seeing how they're doing. If you guys have watched other videos or consumed other content, you know my triple R framework. And in that triple R framework, that second R is relationships. And I always say that second R is the most important R out of the entire R's, and it's the most important to me. You can have all the reach in the world, but without meaningful relationships, your brand is just noise and your business is just transactions. I want you to think of these 5 daily connections as deposits into your relationship bank. They don't all need to be directly tied to revenue or opportunities. In fact, the most valuable connections often don't have an immediate ROI. But understand this, relationships are your revenue. Be all in on relationships, because today's connections could be tomorrow's client or partner or advocate, somebody that speaks about you in a room that you're not even in. One of our clients actually implemented this practice and within 60 days had completely transformed his network. He went from being unknown in his industry to having direct relationships with the top players, all from consistent, intentional connection. I've also told y'all the story about my relationship with Sahel Bloom and how that even came about from me just messaging and interacting on LinkedIn. Sahel Bloom ended up flying all the way down here to Atlanta to host an intimate book club alongside me and 30 other folks. And even in that room, we built a bunch of cool relationships, right? Intentional relationships. But that only came from me being intentional about my daily non-negotiables on sending 5 messages a day. Now, I need y'all to hear me with this, because the key word that I'm saying here is intention. Don't just scroll mindlessly and drop random comments or send random DMs to people without adding value. Be strategic about who you're connecting with and how you are adding value to their day. You don't want to be just one of those people just adding noise out into the world that we don't need any more of. Now, the E impulse stands for evaluate. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to revisit your North Star. Glance at one core metric that matters to your business or your brand. And when you do that, ask yourself, did today move me in the right direction? This practice is about direction over speed and progress over perfection. Most builders get caught in the day-to-day grind and lose sight of where they're headed. They confuse motion with progress. And I've also seen a lot of people confuse anything that's hard with progress. But this daily check-in is going to prevent you from waking up 6 months from now and realizing you've been building in the wrong direction. Remember, direction matters so much more than speed. So here's how I implement this. Number 1, I have a single statement that captures my North Star. It's the ultimate impact that I want to have here in the world. Number 2, I track one core metric daily that indicates whether I'm moving towards that North Star. Now, this is private and personal between me and me, but I want you to do this for yourself. Number 3, I ask myself, if I did exactly what I did today for the next 365 days, would I reach my goal? If the answer is no, I adjust my plan for tomorrow. Remember, you become what you consistently do. Your daily actions compound into your long-term reality. Now let's address the obvious question. Do I really need to implement the entire Pulse method every single day? Do I, Casey? Do I have to do it every day? Yes, that's why these are called daily non-negotiables. But here's the good news. None of these require hours of your time. In total, we're talking 15-30 minutes for publish, 10 to 15 minutes for uncomfortable, 30 minutes or so for lift and movement, 15 to 20 minutes for socialize, 5 minutes for evaluate. That's about 75 to 100 minutes in total. And if you can't dedicate less than 2 hours to the fundamental activities that will build your brand, body, and business, then you might need to reconsider whether you're truly committed to growth, whether you're truly committed to building a personal brand that can impact one or millions of people. If you can't commit less than 2 hours to your brand, body, and business, please unsubscribe from this channel and log out of this video right now. And I say that with the most love and compassion because I'm telling you, you don't want to see any more of my videos if you are not the type of person that can commit to building up your brand, body, and business for at least less than 2 hours a day. So if you are a type of person, now that we've got that out of the way, here's how I recommend implementing the Pulse method. I want you to start with one letter at a time. Master just one letter at a time for a week before adding on the next one. Number 2, stack these habits onto existing routines. For example, do your lift right after your morning coffee. Number 3, Track your completion for each element of Pulse, because when it gets measured, it gets managed. And when it gets managed, it gets improved. Number 4, find an accountability partner who will check in with your daily progress. I have some of these in my own life, ranging from my mother to my partner to my best friend. And these have been one of the biggest hacks that I've made, having these accountability partners who can check me. Remember, these aren't just tasks to complete. These are identities to embody. You're not just somebody who posts content. You are a publisher. You're not just somebody who exercises. You are an athlete. You're not just somebody who builds relationships. You are a connector. Embrace these identities and the actions will follow naturally. But I also want to hear from you. Which letters in this Pulse method do you already practice? Because I know some of y'all watching this video already have a few of these habits in place. And which one do you think is going to be the most challenging for you to implement? Let me know so I can give you some suggestions. Again, these are things that I've been doing for at least probably a year and a half now every day. And it's also inspired from me watching and being super close to these super high level CEOs that win intentionally and impactfully, and me seeing what they do every day to then structure these daily non-negotiables for myself. So if you like things like this, if you want me to give more insights into the cool things that I see high level CEOs and leaders doing, let me know. But let's keep rocking. See you guys in the next one.